Breaking news, not only is Phillip Rivers trying to come out of retirement, Steve Smith Sr. going to join a talented receiving corps in Indianapolis. Steve, is that the case?
Negatory. I am not. No. But how about those Colts? Danny Dimes going down. Charlotte Kidd, University of Duke. Man, was playing outstanding. Playing on a broken fibula, tibia, and goes and overloads his other leg. But it's tough. It's really tough to watch the Colts go down so quickly. I'm not sure if Steichen's gonna make it, man.
Interesting. We'll get into that. Let me just set the stage here, Steve, because you're exactly right. This thing has completely fallen apart.
Yes, it has.
They were the best team in offense and the best team in football through the first 8 weeks. They're averaging 33.8 points a game through the first 8 weeks. Since, they've been averaging 20 on the nose, and they've lost 4 of 5. You mentioned the Daniel Jones injury. I give him credit for trying to play on it, just not the same player at all. I talked to defenses that went against him, and DCs were just like, oh, we just pressured him like crazy. We knew he couldn't move. We pressured him through the A and B gap up the middle because we knew him rolling out to either side just was not going to really work well for him because he couldn't move all that well, and it changed the way this entire offense was operating. They have a chance, Steve, to be the 6th team in the Super Bowl era to start the season 7-1 and not make the postseason.
Yeah.
Things were still like okay a couple of weeks ago. Entering week 13, 74% chance of winning the division. Now, they have a 24% chance of making the postseason, and they finish with the NFL's toughest schedule.
Yes, they do.
At Seahawks, 49ers, Jaguars, at Texans.
All of them have great defenses, and you have a young rookie or old quarterback who mobility and decision making is a little bit on a question mark. And now everything rides on can these two quarterbacks who were not projected to be on our team or starting, let alone pull off a miracle.
That's what it would be. It would be a miracle.
The defense, Sauce was supposed to be that other corner that they were missing. He's unfortunately unavailable. They were getting a ton of pressure in the beginning with just the front four. That has slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, they're missing DeForest Buckner big time.
Right? And then running the football. Against the Jacksonville Jaguars are holding everybody below 80 yards per game. And what did Jonathan Taylor get? 74 yards on 14 carries. His explosive run was 14 yards.
Yeah. That's the most individual rushing yards against the Jags this season.
Yes.
So that's a really good run defense.
Yes, that's a really good run defense. So I'm just not sure that the Colts are going to be able to make hay with the last-minute adjustments, unforeseen circumstances. Nobody plans for both of our quarterbacks to be on IR, unable to help us win at the most critical time of the season.
Anthony Richardson has a fractured orbital bone from a pregame band workout where the machine rips apart and a metal thing drills him in the face. It's been unbelievable what has happened to this team.
Yeah.
It's wild. And it's so crazy to think this entire turn happened right after Chris Ballard said, boys, I'm going all in. And he just gives up 2 first-round picks at the trade deadline for
But it was a smart
Gardner.
pick, though.
I think you could think it was, because when you look at the contract, it was very favorable in terms of money. Sauce got the majority of that deal that he had just signed already. You were going to make sure you had 2 lockdown corners, which work really well with the defensive coordinator in Lou Anarumo, who does a great job on the back end with experience.
Yes.
And bigger corners that he can match up and move around. It's always, one of the strengths of Lou. And so you're going, okay, well, here we go. This is our run. This is what we're on. The trade happens. The broken fibula happens. Then Sauce goes down, and we all go, oh, thank goodness it's not an Achilles.
Yep.
Well, next week, your quarterback goes down with an Achilles. And so it's just, and now they're going to be so reliant on Jonathan Taylor, so reliant on the run. They're going to need it for their explosive plays. They're going to need it to move the football in their offense. So let's push this forward and say, where do they go from here? Because you hinted at it. These are your options. I wrote them all out.
It's only
After
2.
this season, what is your plan at quarterback? I think they've proven to themselves that Anthony Richardson is probably not it. You still have him under contract, I guess. Daniel Jones is a free agent. Do you tag him for over $46 million? Do you try to sign a long-term deal with a quarterback that has played one healthy season, who is now coming off of an Achilles and may not be ready for week 1? I've been told, Steve, the most logical right now buzz around the NFL is they try to cut some sort of discount deal, that Daniel Jones maybe lost some money with this injury, and we bring you back on a discount deal, but at the same time you're playing with fire there, that he could hit the open market. Maybe he goes back to Minnesota. Who knows? So I don't know what their plan is. I think, from my understanding, everything's going to be evaluated this offseason, and you have a new ownership group that is doing the evaluation. I think everybody's going to be looked at, from Chris Ballard to Shane Steichen to the quarterback position. Obviously, the 3 most important aspects, because you overall have a decent roster. We've broken this roster down before.
Yeah, it's a good roster.
It's a good roster.
It's a good roster.
So,
they're going to make.
I don't know what they do.
They're going to make some adjustments. I don't know if Daniel Jones needs to be evaluated, and you give a discount to, based on knowing his deficiencies. You already know his deficiencies. You've worked through them. I think you need to probably beef up that offensive line. It is a talented offensive line at times. It's showing where Daniel Jones doesn't feel comfortable is when they're sending straight up the middle. So you got to tighten that up and get a little bit better. We know the tackles are really good.
They don't move them, though, which is weird. Like, the tackles don't pull. Like, they're just there. But they're good.
But I think, because of everything that has happened with the Colts, I think the coach didn't prepare himself the best possible way. And we know injuries are part of this game. And how is he supposed to know? He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't know a rubber band is going to snap.
He doesn't.
Anthony Richardson in the face.
And it's not his fault. But you had a really good football team that fell apart at the end. And somebody has to be accountable. And you know what they say? Poop rolls downhill.
I knew you were going to say.
It rolls downhill. It don't start at the top. You can't knock the person who writing the check for the person who is spending my money. Right?
Yeah. It's just fascinating, because I don't think there were, when the trade happens, I don't think there's been vibes that high. They were the best team in football.
Oh, bro, they were. Hey,
since Andrew Luck.
I was in Berlin. They were talking about Sauce and how good, how smart, how he had just got there and picked up this and picked up that. And Lou was just talking about everything. And now you don't have that. And your quarterback goes down. So now your defense now has to all of a sudden make these offensive plays kind of like the Chicago Bears, where you need to have these takeovers, takeaways.
Yep.
And scoring touchdowns to pick up the slack. And I'm just not sure they're built that way right now.
Yep. What would you do with Daniel Jones? You kind of breezed over it. You said, I don't know.
I don't know, because yes.
You're out of options, because you also don't have a first-round pick this year or next year to go get a young quarterback.
You don't have options for a first-round pick this year or next year. Hey, the quarterback situation isn't great in this draft class anyway, right? They're not guys who are plug and play right now with the Colts.
That's a good point.
So you don't need a first round draft pick to be in that quarterback situation. You have to evaluate and say, what are we expecting out of Daniel Jones?
Yep.
That's the part.
First. I mean, that's the
part that you got to ask yourself is, what do we want out of him? Not, well, he's injured, he gets a discount. He tears his Achilles in December. I'm going to tell you right now. He's going to try.
You've torn your Achilles. So
yes.
Tell me what's
He's going to try. I tore my Achilles back when I did it. I tore mine in November. I started rehab. I had a double rupture. I don't know how severe his is. I had a double rupture, which is mean I tore it off the heel and I tore it in the middle. So they had to actually sew it back up in the middle and then drill with a screw my Achilles back in the heel of my foot because it ripped off completely. I mean, I did it like an OG is supposed to do it. Tore it out the frame. Dr. Anderson, when he went in there, he opened me up and he said it was fresh scar tissue. 2, it was also upside down. He said, hey, it's a double rupture. So I had to go in there. So I had a little bit
upside down.
I had a little bit longer process. Bro, I didn't really start feeling halfway decent, and then I rolled my ankle and I had a hairline fracture. I didn't start to feel decent until late October or middle of October. I started to feel full speed. And he's playing quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'm playing wide receiver. And I was trying my best. I was rehabbing. I had bought anti-gravity treadmill.
Oh.
So I can run, so I could just get back. It didn't matter all the stuff I tried to do. The Achilles, one of the things with the Achilles that people don't know, the Achilles is a mind of itself. So you have the healing process of keeping it stationary, atrophy in your calf, allowing the scar tissue to go, and then a lack of mobility because you have to keep it a certain way. For me, it was 2.5 months. Non-weight bearing. Because if I did put weight on it, guess what would happen? I would re-tear it. Nobody's ever done that. Go back and look at it. There's a few people who have.
Deshaun Watson just re-tore his.
D'Angelo Hall did it.
Oh, D. Hall, poor guy.
Yeah, D. Hall did it. He did it going to the bathroom. Took the turn to boom, put his foot down, touch strap.
Oh, I thought you meant going to the bathroom.
No,
like it was an aggressive shit.
No, he was literally wheeling himself in the bathroom in the dark. Bang.
Oh, Jesus.
So you're talking about he's not going to be available. It's December, man. He won't be back to full strength until October, November. Right? And we've seen what happens with a quarterback if you rush the Achilles. Aaron Rodgers didn't look fresh. Kirk Cousins did.
It took him and Kirk Cousins more than a year to look like themselves.
And that's what it took. It takes about 18 months until you feel back to your normal self.
So you're describing very limited options.
Yes.
But I am fascinated to see what, obviously it's not Jim Irsay who's running the show there. It's his daughters, and they've been very involved and very active and very vocal in a lot of these discussions, to my understanding, that go on in the decision-making of this building. And it's going to be their decision about what happens. Now, I am a little bit weary when I look at going, okay, Shane Steichen got the most out of Daniel Jones in the history of his career. This is a career high in almost every single category that we've ever seen from Daniel Jones. And Shane Steichen last year, Steve, with a quarterback that threw more interceptions than touchdowns and completed less than 50% of his passes, still went 8-9. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of curious, what the perception of Shane would be at the end of this season in the building when we've seen him win games with virtually nothing at the quarterback position. We've seen him at times get this team to look like the best team in football with a reclamation project at quarterback. Is that somebody you want to push out of your building just because things have not gone well on the back end of this season when you've seen, man, what if we eventually do get the guy? What could this guy be like? These are the decisions that every building has to make, and these are some huge ones in Indianapolis. And we're seeing just a fall off the cliff here, and what's transpired, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they operate.
Listen, with Rose Sparks, you ain't never got to get ready because they allow you to stay ready. As you become older, hey, I'm older too. And I'm also single now. So being older and being single, there's a little bit of getting back on the scene and afraid that you won't be able to perform to your excellence. So I got an opportunity to make sure that I stay ready. Got to roll with me anytime the way it comes in. Roll does an excellent job of connecting you with a medical provider, and it comes straight to your door. No having to wait in line or to drive anywhere. You just sit at home, prepare, get ready, and then you can stay ready because Roll will be delivering straight to your door. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with a provider at ro.co/89 to find out if prescription Roll Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/89 for $15 off the first order. Sparks is a compounded drug product. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. For safety information, go to ro.co/safety info. I don't think you give Shane Steichen an out because Shane Steichen is the one who drafted Anthony Richardson. And that was a mistake.
Yep. You weigh all of these things, right?
When you weigh all of those things, forcing him to play, not re-signing Joe Flacco. Ooh, right?
Gotta get Joe in there.
Right. So you have
don't get Joe right now, man.
You have a few you just have a
Joe.
Yeah. You have a few things that just are his guy. And then he goes out and you go back the next year and you play him. Anthony Richardson, and he doesn't go well, so then you get Daniel Jones, and that goes right. But there's still some areas of this team that you can't just put it on the coordinators, or you can't put it on the general manager. You have to have the guy who manages everybody, and that's Shane Steichen.
Okay, well then I'll leave it with this. You know who would probably be excited if Shane Steichen got fired?
Who?
Philadelphia Eagles.
You think he goes back?
Couldn't you see them bringing him back?
Ooh.
That was when they were at their best offensively, in all honesty.
Yeah. We'll so see. let me ask you. You got the Colts with Shane Steichen, possibly the Bills if something doesn't happen. The Cleveland Browns with Kevin Stefanski. The Cincinnati Bengals with Zach Taylor, the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mike Tomlin, the Las Vegas Raiders with Pete Carroll. Mm-hmm. All of these teams all of these coaches and teams I just named, I'm not saying that they need to be fired. Well, a few of them I said they are actually, so I digress. But I don't believe that some of these coaches need to be fired because they're not very good. I think sometimes the message gets stale. When you're at an organization for a number of years, players start to be able to know what's going to come after this win or this loss. I'm going to be overcoached. I'm going to be criticized. I know what speech he's telling. You've been around so long, and a lot of coaches, they don't want players that are going to rock the boat, give their opinion. They don't want a player that's going to walk upstairs and knock on the door and say, hey, coach, man, talking to the fellas. They ain't really digging this full pads after we just had this, back-to-back games.
Yeah.
They don't want that. A lot of coaches, not all of them, a lot of coaches sometimes want you to check your brain at the door. They don't want any pushback.
Again, that's not universal.
That's not universal. But there are certain coaches, right? And I'm not saying these coaches are it. I'm just throwing it out there, giving y'all an opportunity to go in the locker room and know that what you see on Sunday, that's the perfect scenario. But just like every family, man, there's some stuff and drama going on during the week that nobody sees.
True. Very true.
And
I throw a team in there, too, that you missed.
Oh, go ahead. Throw a team in there.
I throw Arizona in there.
Oh!
I think Jonathan Gannon does a pretty decent job, honestly. I think they play pretty hard for him, and they've gotten better each and every year.
Yeah.
But this year, we'll step back for sure. So they've been in a lot of these games, so they just haven't won them. I'm more fascinated, though, if this is the last we've seen Kyler Murray in that building.
Yeah.
And they pick the coach over the quarterback, which they have done the reverse multiple times before.
Oh, no. The coach, whatever coach they get, and that coach is going with their guy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Kyler's there again. But you're right. I think that this is going to be an interesting coaching cycle. I think there's the likes of Kevin Stefanski, where a lot of people I talk to around the league believe if he's somewhere else, it's going to be a very different scenario. I know that sounds wild to everybody, but it's sometimes setting, ownership, everything.
Here's what I want.
Plays a part.
Here's what I want for Coach Stefanski. I never want to see a guy get fired. Mm-hmm. But I do think, man, get this man an opportunity to prove and show that if he has the opportunity to pick his quarterback, I think things would be a lot better for him.
You mean that he truly picks the quarterback?
If he truly picks a quarterback, and I'm not talking about Shedeur, I'm talking about the Deshaun Watson, how that unfolded. And the reason I say that Deshaun Watson is a off-schedule, out-of-the-pocket type of quarterback. And Coach Stefanski's offense is in the pocket, precision, play action, staying on schedule, no off rhythm plays being made. Right, Coach Stefanski would not be a really good coach for Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. That's not the style of offense that Kevin Stefanski runs. And so I'm just saying that the match, it's a mismatch, not because of personalities, it's of play style. You got one play style that's this, and then you got another play style that's stationary, that's go through your progression. So it just doesn't mix. It's almost like you got Kool-Aid and Crystal Light. That is a cup full of nasty. That's what that is.
Yeah, you can't do that. We should do an entire episode on the coaching landscape.